Oh my. Hey, beautiful soul. Hey, my beautiful souls. I cannot tell you how extremely fast the creative energy is just flowing right now. There is this inner urge to create something, to tap into your own creative energy. So that says create something, because to be creative is nothing more than just to create something. Just with who you are. Just can be literally anything and everything that you just call into existence. And to be fair, we all have been holding back those things within ourselves. Because maybe of certain fears, for some of you it might actually just been the same reasons probably as I had unconsciously, that maybe it's the fear of not doing it perfectly, not doing it right, or just a fear of being judged, to be honest. Not because of making mistakes, but actually because you're just afraid that you give people another reason to judge you. Because you like to try out things, you like to express yourself, maybe every day a little different, because you are a person that is changing a lot and does not feel the same every day as most of us do, of course, but you just are always evolving, and probably you're not even aware of that, but there is at least one teeny tiny bit that is different about you every day, because you are in this huge expanding phase. You're in this expansive energy, and you feel like you're kind of exploding, but also in the same way you're just opening up. Your heart is bursting open. All, like, the energy is in all your body. The things that you might have been afraid of, they are just like, all these things are flushed out. There are no boundaries anymore. Like, you feel like, oh my god, I have to do that, even though like a year ago you were so afraid to just think about it. And you're like, okay, I wanna like drive a car now. I'm like, what? I thought I'm afraid, but I feel this urge to do that. Or, oh my god, I need to paint something now. I'm like, painting? Me? Or maybe something you always wanted to actually do. It's like, today's not the time. That's not the time. Or, I don't know how to do this. You were just, in your mind about this. But now you are, like, you can't just hold back anymore. You just have to go for it. So, maybe it is time to actually go for it. For you. Like, if you're listening to that in the car right now, I wouldn't say or tell you, like, stop the car right now and do whatever you need to do. Or, But really, if it's calling you, if this urge is so big by now, it might be really good for you to sit down, take your time, and just do it. Just do it. The longer you hold back, the more stressful and painful it will feel. Don't run away from your own creative energy, even your own sexual energy, because this is so closely and deeply linked to each other, to one another. One can often not go without the other, and you don't have to be afraid of it. Because this is something so sacred and so beautiful and something so natural. And in our society, it is just so overly criticized. Like it's something dirty, something bad, Or if you just want to be creative, it's like, oh, you want to do that for work. It's just something people don't really like to see. Like the artists. I mean, some of them, they're really big and all. But not all of us artists are going to be big, It's just having probably a small business or just a small group of people who buy those products. And they don't really have much money or something like that. They don't make much money with that. Because being a creative, an artist, is not always that easy. And it is something that is just not really a lot of people like to see, in this world. Because you're like, if you're coming out of a culture like me, it is more common to just go for the regular jobs, the ones you go there 5 days a week, which people call the 9-to-5 jobs, or you go part-time, but it's just like something you always do regularly. It's just something that feels safe to people, But the heart and your soul and your actual needs, all of this is expanding and revealing you that it's not gonna work this way anymore. Especially for those people watching. You're not supposed to fit into those labels. There might not even be people that told you can't do things. Like you can't do what your heart wishes to do, because if you're being honest, if we are being honest, we always knew what we wanted to do for our work, or just what we wanted to give the world. Or to gift the world. To share our gifts with them, kind of. But we felt like we're not supposed to do that. And so we just wanted to be safe, to be liked, to not be judged that much, because deep within we're just craving to be part of something, to just have our peace. Because you are sensitive and you need your creations too. And we just felt like we need to hide that, because probably deep within we were just afraid that we're not being loved then anymore, or we are triggering people too deeply with our truth. And there is something you need to know right now. Yes, especially right away. You're not responsible to keep other people's peace. Especially when you are hurting yourself with that. You can be always respectful that is something really important. But you need to be honest from now on. And this is what is breaking through. Your honesty. Where are you still lying? Where are you not telling the truth? Like, for me right now, my mom was calling me. And I was like, probably we are celebrating the pre-Christmas time. I don't know what's it called in English, like where you're lighting candles. Like we have 4 candles on yes, lack of English words. Sorry, guys. Probably you know what I mean. But that wasn't the case. She just wanted to like share her fast-moving energies, like what she's just experienced, what was exciting her, why she was like so stressed out. And was like, in the middle of recording, I was like, okay, I need to tell her, because my heart was closing immediately. I was like, I don't need that right now. I don't need that stress. And sometimes it's as simple as that, saying, I'm sorry, can we talk about this later? I'm in the middle of doing something which is important, and I would like to finish that. And it's not like, she was telling me about something like life-changing or anything, just like a small moment where she was just really triggered, and I was like, I'm really sorry, but I just can't listen to that right now because I'm so overwhelmed and I really don't feel good with more stress because I had a really emotionally stressful day today, right? And sometimes we just need to say those kind of things, It can be really simple, as like when you're going to a restaurant and the food you order doesn't taste good or is cold, or like there's something that's not okay with the food. Like not if there is like one like piece of, I don't know, parsley missing. Like not something like small, but something more like that. Should just say it and don't hold back and say, I'm sorry, this actually is cold, can you please heat it so I have a warm food? Or I'm sorry, you got my order wrong, I actually ordered this and that, can you please fix that? Or to even be as honest with gifts that someone has given you and saying, hey, I know that you meant really well and I appreciate that you're thinking about me and that you want to gift me something. But to be honest, I don't really like those kind of things because you're making the other person feel uncomfortable. But with not saying it, you also make yourself feel bad. Because someone thinks you're so happy, but that's actually not the truth. And sometimes, or most of the times, it's just so much easier to be honest, to not hold back, to tell people the truth, even if they feel uncomfortable, even if they feel threatened. You cannot always stop that from happening. You just have to be honest. Sometimes, not only sometimes. I cannot tell you how important that is, because it's unexplainable in words, but it makes a huge difference. Like when you're in a relationship with a person, like romantically, let's say it like that, or living with a person, you also have to tell them what you really don't like, because it's your space too, right? And the other person has to tell you too, like, okay, this is not okay for me, can we change this? This is important, so you both can feel at home, Like in a family, we need to talk about things. Or with friends. It's always important to be honest. With that, people will be able to understand us and to respect our boundaries, and even probably learn to respect their own boundaries, their own wishes, their own heart probably. Because you show them that you're authentic. Or telling people, like, if they're sitting really close to you and there's a lot of space, around you, like, I'm sorry, I'm actually feeling uncomfortable with that. Can you please move a few inches away from me? It is really important. Some people will be like, oh, no problem, sorry, I didn't know that you're uncomfortable with that. Or some will be like, why are you so sensitive? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, there will be all sorts of people, all sorts of reactions. But most of the times, people are not really that, bothered with you saying what you actually need or what you don't like, or just with your honesty. It's just most of those things it's just in our mind, That's just all. And sometimes we are so bothered when other people are changing and just changing fast. Like when they go out of relationships just like a few days ago and then almost being in a new relationship. And sometimes you're like, what is going on? Like, this is so unfair. This is like unfair to the other person, or kind of like all kind of judgments that are running through our head, our brain, even though we just don't know anything. We know nothing about how this person truly feels. Probably this person was falling out of love with their partner a long time ago, or they've been treated really, really bad by this person. We don't know what was going on. And then they finally found a person which actually respects them, which is good towards them, which just, bring them a level of love they never experienced. And they're just spending time with this person because it feels good, It feels more healed. And who we are to judge that? Just because we can't understand, because we wouldn't do that ourselves, or just because our mind is so limited. And I'm just saying that because I've been experiencing that, not like personally, like with me being in a relationship or going out of it, but just sometimes what I see in my surroundings, I'm like, who are we to judge? And why do we let ourselves be so easily influenced by the opinions of others? If we actually know what is good for us, or what we feel like, maybe we don't even feel bothered with that, and other people are saying like, oh, this is like really bad. And we're like, later on we're thinking like, oh, maybe this is wrong what they are doing, and then we are changing our mind. We don't even know why. It's just because just as really emotional people or highly sensitive people, we just take on others' feelings without even realizing, and we're like so stressed out sometimes, or like so judgmental of a person or a situation that we weren't judgmental at all before. We were like, yeah, that's totally fine. I mean, I get why that is so, because we intuitively already felt that something was off anyways, and there was something going on, but we need to let people, decide for themselves and see for themselves what is good, to actually see how strong they are. We can always be there to support people, but they need to walk the path on their own to see how strong they actually are and how capable of doing that, It's sometimes really hard because we care so deeply. And that's so beautiful and so wonderful. I mean, look at us. We are the people with the golden hearts, but we are not perfect either. Like, sometimes we're judging because out of our own pain, not because we've taken on anything, to be honest. Or sometimes we're just so hurt or overwhelmed that we are acting really mean or, are moody, but not because we are like that, but it's just because we're overwhelmed, like little kids are, They're probably sleepy or had a long day and they're just grumpy and crying just because they need rest and they need to de-stress in that case, to just clear all this out. With sleep, we are just clearing things. We're just, our brain is just running through everything. So, sorting out what is really important, what is not. And sleep is something so essential. So essentially for all of us, or just sitting there somewhere, resting, not watching. Watching TV can also be sometimes really good, because we just need something where we can kind of tap out of our brain thinking and just watch some nonsense on. we don't always watch nonsense, to be honest. Sometimes it's just like funny TV series, and sometimes it's like really something interesting with deep meaning, and we just need that sometimes. But when we are really overwhelmed, what we need is something where we can come back to ourselves, where we can just like center and ground and just breathe and feel ourselves. So it means no caffeine, no too much sugar, just something natural, like clear, like water. You can also drink like sparkling water, I don't know, or maybe like lemon juice. It's also good with sparkling water or water. Just something that is really supporting our body to cleanse, because we can also work with those things to also recover emotionally. And there's just so much going on that we really need that, especially to create. So just be with ourselves and do something we love. And I'm encountering those sayings like really crazily often that say that you are not stressed or overwhelmed because you're doing less. I mean, too much, sorry. But because you're actually doing not enough of the things you actually love. And what does that tell us? Yeah, what does that tell us? Everyone will get their own intuitive thought, I would say, or feeling when they hear that, so I'm not gonna say more to that. You decide for yourself. And this is also a message that needs to come through, is you decide for yourself. You decide for your life. I'm just like here, like me, the one talking here in the background, like the little support in the background, or maybe big support, you never know. Just saying, exactly those words you need, or at least some words you need, like few words, sentences, or even the whole video, and giving you the feeling of not being alone with it, just making you feel understood, because might be finally someone that understands, that hears your pain too, that hears your longing and just talks with you about it, goes to you and says like, hey, I know this is there. Sometimes it just feels so good to stumble across videos like randomly, and we feel like we just tapping onto this, like listening, like, oh my god, like this is exactly what I need. And you know why those kind of videos pop up for you? It's just not like only this, there are a lot of videos, or just even movies or sayings online. It can be anything, everywhere. Because there is something that will always be supporting you. And what we need to see, we are not alone. It's just like this warm hug, kind of, that you need. Someone to understand, to see you, to let you feel whatever you feel, so you can recognize that. Even though you might know all of those things, you just need someone to tell you this, because sometimes our mind can make us feel so unsure, or, all our surroundings. And those kind of things pop up because you were supported by life, by God, by Source, by whatever you believe in, even yourself, just your angels, your deceased loved ones. You're not alone in this, but you need to allow yourself to feel, because I know you have been holding back, and that's why this aching longing is so strong. So don't ignore it. Find balance with the things you love and the things you need to do. And allow yourself to just be, because as humans, life's not always that easy. Being a human is kind of confusing, kind of overwhelming, kind of all the things. Just allow yourself to be, okay? You can do this. I believe in you. May you always be blessed. And so may I bless myself too. Ciao.